Hi guys, so it's been a while since I last posted and I've been restructuring and figuring out what's the new format for the past year paper reviews, and this is what I come up with. So if you get any feedbacks, feel free to leave it in the comments section, and I hope this is more suited for everyone's liking. So a special shout out here to my membership subscribers. At the moment we have one only, and he or she is donating us $1 per month to fund our channel's operation. So thank you. Your help is much appreciated. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So the next paper that we are doing now is actually paper 21 from October-November series. So for the first question that we have here, okay, I first put it yellow shade on the A variables over there. So you will see me 3A minus 4A, you get a balance of -8. And then for 7B plus B, you will get 8B for that. So if you were to rearrange this and write 8B minus 8, it is also accepted. So for question 2, alright, so there's a restriction, so I couldn't actually illustrate this out using this new format of video. But one thing I can give you is to draw out the scale. Okay, so I'll be dividing AC, the 500 by 100. Then I know it's roughly 5 cm that I have to measure. And for BC, it's 650 divided by 100. And it is 6.5 cm. So from this, you can roughly draw it out on the graph over here. Moving on to question 3. Okay, so I bought 3.6 kg of potatoes plus 2.6 kg of leeks. So when these two added up together with their price, it will be 13.72 as given by the question. So I replaced the leeks price as labeled over there, 2.65 per kilogram. After substituting this, okay, I take 13.72 minus 2.8 times 2.65. Then you will get the results of 6.3. Then you take 6.3 divided by 3.6. You will get the price of a potatoes per kg is $1.75. So moving on, we have question 4 here. Okay, it's kind of hard to adjust what to do first. So immediately based on whatever the points that was labeled there, okay, I'm able to identify that it is a downward sloping line where it will form a negative correlation over there. So with the negative correlation being settled, I then move on and plot down the points. Okay, it's harder to see, but I will still use black pen to label the coordinates. Okay, so after all the coordinates was being labeled, okay, I now took out my virtual ruler here. I try to adjust and connect as many points as possible. Your answer might not be exactly same as mine, but as long as it's connected sufficient point, it should be awarded full marks for this. So based on your graph, your D will also be different, okay, because from 6 centimeters, when you trace it up, okay, I'm using a line over here to show you. So the value is somewhere around 10.9. Okay, so the when it is 6 kilometers, the average speed was 10.9 based on the line of best fit that I've drawn. So for moving on to question 5, before your calculation, please remember to round up the figures over there. So the 49.2 was being rounded into 50, and then the negative 9.59 was being rounded to negative 10. So for the 4.085 was rounded to 4, and the 2.35 was rounded to 2. So 40 divided by 8, the answer should be 5. Moving on to question 6, I first changed all the mixed numbers over there into improper fraction. Okay, so that I can run the comparison and factorize them. So 2 over 3 will be written as 2 times 3 plus 2 over 3, multiply with 2 times 4 plus 3 over 4. So I then move on. I took the final results of 8 over 3 times 11 over 4, the numerator being multiplied together and denominator multiplied together. After the factorization, you should be getting 7 1 over 3 as your final answer. Moving on to question 7, make x the subjects of this formula. So I colored my 5x over there in yellow. So I first shift the negative 7 to the other side. Then I gotten 2y plus 7 equals to 5x. So to get rid of the 5, I'll be taking 2y plus 7 divided by 5. Then that will be your x final results. Moving on to question 8a. Okay, this is kind of tricky as well. So for you to calculate the results, okay, there's actually a shortcut to this. All you need to do is to multiply 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. You actually get 210. So what they wanted was the digits must end in, which is you have to focus on the last digits only. So for us, it will be 0 for this A over here. As for part B, 84 for its prime factor. So all the numbers that I use at the side must be prime numbers. So I first divide by 2, I get 42. 42 divided by 2 again, I get 21. 21 divided by 7, you get 3. So with all this information, you will get 2 squared times 3 times 7 as the final answer. As for 9a, okay, it is kind of new. First time seeing this. It normally appears in core only. So all you need to do is to trace which one is actually 300%. So out of all the options, it will be 40 times 3. As for part B, finding the magnitude. So whenever you saw the keyword magnitude, basically what they want was a Pythagoras theorem. So based on the results that they gave us here, okay, only the last one qualifies because they put a bracket, negative 3 over there. Without the brackets, it would be wrong. Moving on, question 10. A town has a population of 45,000, increase exponentially, which means this is actually a compound. Okay, 45,000 times 100% plus 1.6% bracket to the power of 5. It's how you get to the final answer. But the key assessment here is, aside from compound formula, you have to correct it to the nearest 100. So you have to make adjustments to whatever variables that you have there. So your final answer for this will be 48,700. Moving on to question 11. This is quite tricky as well, but the y equals to 2 is the crucial information here. Because with that, you should be able to identify what's the x range. So from -1 to 2, you'll notice it is 3 steps difference. Okay? If it's a line of symmetry, which means it will reflect another 3 steps to the right hand side. So from 2, you increase another 3, it will arrive at 5. So since they are at the same line, the y will never change. It will be 4 for them. So I know the coordinates of the point will be 5, 4. So with this information, I can actually label down all my A, B, C, D already. So I colored them in yellow so that I can show you clearer. Whereby for 4 and 1, on the Y section, I'll be putting it in red. So our A here will be -1. Our B will be 5. Our C will be 1. And our D will be 4. So that's how you get this sorted out. So this is pretty much it for this particular question. It's quite new, a new type of question here. So question 12, a regular polygon has n side of 156. So normal interior angle formula. So 180 multiplied with n minus 2 divided by n equals to 156. So by running the calculation, you should be able to get your results as 15. So for question 13, this is recurring decimal. So x equals to 0.1777 and it repeats unlimitedly. Then 10x is actually 1.777, repeat unlimitedly. So by finding the difference, it will automatically cancel off the 7 that was repeating. So you get 9x equals to 1.6. So 1.6 divided by 9, you will get your final answer. Which is 8/45. Moving on to question 14. Here, find the gradient of the perpendicular line. So first, I have to make some adjustments to the 8y plus 4x equals to 5 given to us. So I first shift the x away. I get -4x plus 5. Get rid of the 8. You will get -4/8 here. Okay, so this is the gradient. By taking m original times m new, okay, equals to -1, you will get your final results as m new equals to -1 divided by -4/8. So this will get your final results of 2. As for question 15, okay, this is actually a speed time graph again. Find the deceleration between 60 to 100 seconds. So for this, you first have to write down their coordinates. Like what I have over here. They are 60, 18, and then 106. So to not confuse you, I'll even label the x1, y1, and x2, y2 over there. And through the gradient calculation, I'll be getting -0.3 meters per second. However, remember, for speed or acceleration, anything else, it doesn't include the negative. You shouldn't include the negative. So the final answer of this should be 0.3 only. As for part B, okay, it's actually the area comparison. By finding how much they travel and then minus off each other, then you get the final answer. So to illustrate this better, I actually labeled down all the points that I'll be using. So I first split the car's travel into two parts, okay, which is trapezium at the top and then a rectangle at the bottom, whereby for the motorcyclist is only 100 times 12. So the difference from this will actually result in 360. So all the details calculation has been attached. For question 16, so this one is basic factorization. You should be getting 3x minus 4 and 2x plus 5 for this. Question 17a, this is actually a typical question that appears in AdMaths. This is what we call polynomials, also known as function. You can just substitute the negative 2 into x position, then it will equals to 19. So you will get a equals to 19 minus 12, you will get 7 as the final results. As for part B, g hx here, okay, I first replace the hx with 3x minus 8, and then this 3x minus 8 will act as the x for me to substitute into g's function. That's why I label it in red. After the substitution, you should be getting 6x minus 9, and personally I will simplify it by taking the common factor of 3 out from the brackets. So 3 bracket 2x minus 3. So to find g inverse, there's 3 steps to this. First, write down the function and change it into y first. So I got y equals to 2x plus 7. Okay, then I swap the x and y's position. I get x equals to 2y plus 7. Then the last step is to rearrange everything and make y the subjects. So you will get 2y equals to x minus 7, then get rid of the 2 over there, you will get x minus 7 over 2 as your final answer. As for question 18, surface area. So remember, students always forget this, which is the bottom of the shape must be included. So personally, I will split this into 3 parts for the calculation. One is the sphere at the top. The next is the curved surface area of the cone, and the bottom circle over there. So there's 3 parts to this. So I label it clearly so that you know what I'm talking about. Then I proceed with the calculation. So for the sphere part, please remember the formula given for us is for entire sphere, but what we are using as the top is the hemisphere only. So I have to multiply 1 over 2 into it. So 1 over 2 times 4 times pi times our r, which is 7 square here, plus, okay, to calculate curved surface area of a cylinder, we'll be using 2 pi r, okay, multiplied with the height. So what we have now is 2 times pi times 7 times 12. As for the bottom, okay, this is actually a normal area calculation of a circle, so just pi r square will do. So for this, your final answer will actually be 315 pi, and it will be 989.6. If you were to correct it to 3 significant figures, it will be 990.6. 90. So moving on, we have question 19 here. To make your understanding better, actually illustrate it at the side. Okay, everything other than M, are we using a color, which is yellow here. Then union with N. So I pick another color and then shaded the N with a different direction. Then union with P. So I pick another color again and shade out the P over there. So because it is involving union, which means all of the parts I have to add them up. So the entire shaded region will be this that I colored in green, or you guys call it turquoise. Okay, so this will be the final answer for question 19. So question 20, the giveaway for this question is the keyword cyclic quadrilateral. What this means is that the opposite angle adds up, it will result in 180. So if you blindly doing this and then you straight away add everything up equals to 360, you can't get anywhere. So I first took 2x added with the x plus 60, where I labeled with a red arrow. Then I get 2x plus x plus 60 equals to 180. My x is actually 40 after the calculation. So with the x results, I can now move on by taking y plus 4x minus 87 equals to 180. Substituting the 40 into x position, you get your final results as 107. As for question 21, okay, PV is actually 17.2. So they wanted to calculate PT. So first thing that I do was to join up the TV line so that you can know which part of the graph that they are looking at. Now, so after labeling in blue, I transfer the information out. So with this, I know that the PT is actually opposite of the 43 degree, and the 17.2 is actually the hypotenuse. So with these two information, I can now proceed with opposite and hypotenuse, which is sine calculation. So sine 43 equals to PT over PV. PT is actually sine 43 times 17.2. So remember to close the 43 degree before you multiply it with 17.2. So your final answer for this will be 11.7 after correcting it to 3 significant figures. For question 22, pretty straightforward. Okay, I first extracted x from the numerator. I get a balance of x minus 5. As for the denominator, I extracted 2. I get x squared minus 25 for the denominator at the moment. So this x squared minus 25 can be further simplified into x plus 5 and x minus 5. And I proceed to cancel off whatever that was repeating, which is the x minus 5 over there. So you will get the balance of x over 2x plus 5 as your final answer. Question 23, which is the last question here. As per usual, I will be first tackling the information given by the question. So the only things that caught my eye was so B is the midpoint of CD. So since it's a parallelogram, you have to know that CD and FE is the same, and FC and ED is basically the same. So I know FE is M, which means CD is also M. Okay, and since B is the midpoint, I know that CB is half M and BD is another half M. So with these two information, okay, I can now look at the FA equals 2AC. So this, if I were to label my AC as X, my FA will actually be 2X. So this is just a rough indication that AC is actually 1/3 of the entire FC, and FA is actually 2/3 of the entire thing. So since I know it was surrounding FC, so the first thing I have to identify was the F to C's vector. So for me to get to FC, I have to go through FE plus EC, which is M minus N. Okay, so FA itself, like what I said, is actually 2/3 of FC. So AC is 1/3 of FC. To find AB, okay, I'll be using AC plus CB, which is 1/3 of FC plus half M. So by substituting my FC into it, I get 1/3M minus 1/3N plus 1/2M. So this calculation here will get me a final result of 5/6M minus 1/3N. So the last part to this calculation will be part B over here. Okay, so first thing first, when you notice the vector's value is the same, which means they are both parallel. So this is the first thing that you should identify. Then the next thing was that the value at the front, you saw the fraction 5/6 and 5/18, they're actually related. Okay, if you were to divide GH by 3, you will get to JK's value, which means GH is actually 3 times JK value, or you can mention that JK is actually 1/3 of GH. So these are the little things about vector that you need to know. So if you like this type of video, okay, this is actually a newly improved version of the past year paper review. So I hope you like it. If you got any feedbacks, feel free to leave it in the comments section. So I wish you all the best in your upcoming examination. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. Bye.